Forget Iowa City, Dunk City. The Iowa men's basketball team continues to roll on the hardwood. Coppin State, the latest victim of getting rolled on by 30. Highlights and complete analysis next. The Big Ten and Big 12 square off in some outstanding matchups. See which conference got the leg up on the court. As we get closer to Christmas, we reveal number 4 on our top 5 plays of the Iowa football season. Plus, what's Coach Rhodes telling his Cyclones before they leave for the break? And speaking of football, we'll get you ready for a huge day of NFL in Week 16. You're already watching anyway. Why change the channel? Iowa Game Day starts right now. Thanks for tuning in to Iowa Game Day, where we always take an in-depth look at your Hawkeyes and take a peek at the rest of the sports world as well. Now, if I told you that the Iowa men's basketball team would miss all 17 of their three-point attempts against Coppin State and the Eagles hit 9 of theirs, how close do you think Saturday's game would be? Well, that was the case today at Carver Hawkeye Arena, but before you assume the worst, let's just see how it went down. The Hawks looking for their first 6-game winning streak since 2004. Now, despite the outside shooting struggles in this one, they got inside often. First half, Hawks already up 16. The alley-oop to Aaron White, that would be a theme. We'll get to that in a sec. A minute later, the Hawks running the fast break. Mike Gazelle gets behind the defense as the lead grows. Still in the first, the give inside to Adam Woodbury. The freshman can make that 10-footer. Iowa led 40-14 at the break, and the second half was fun. Fast break, Anthony Clemens to White, one-handed with authority. And one more look as White punishes the rim. The 6'8 sophomore had himself a ball game. More transition dunks this time and the foul. If that's not enough for you, well then how about this? Full court heave from Josh Oglesby. Aaron White, 20 points, 12 of them courtesy of 6 dunks. Beats his defender with ease. Might want to put someone else on that guy, and it's getting contagious. Eric May parts the sea, throws it down and one. That one could be the dunk of the year so far for the Hawks. Definitely deserving of a couple of extra looks. Hawkeyes up 34, and we're not done. The computers call it a 2-point dunk shot. Gabriel Olaseni with 2 hands. He had so much fun with that one. Well, he decided to do it again. End of the game, why not? Olaseni again, 80-50 as time winds down. That would be your final score. Another 30-point win for the Hawkeyes. White led all scores with 20. Olaseni scored a career-high 14 points. Devin Marble, relatively quiet, but they really didn't need him tonight. In a game where the Hawks missed 17 threes, they win by 30.
20 turnovers, 0 for 17. You don't expect to win by 30. But I thought, our defensive effort and concentration early set the tone.
Sometimes stats tell the story, and sometimes they don't. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I'm sure if you look at a different category, it'd be surprising too.
0 for 17 on threes isn't very good, but the Hawks were able to score inside with ease in this one. Iowa outscored Coppin State 50-16 in the paint, including 9 rim rockers. Zach Hanley has more on the dunk fest at Carver.
You'd think the talk in Iowa City would be about the Hawkeyes winning their 6th straight game, but that wasn't the case inside the locker room. All anyone could talk about was Eric May and his one-handed slam dunk.
That was amazing. Seeing that dunk, it was just crazy. It was just like, wow. It was a good dunk show.
Once he gets off that left leg, he can get up with anybody, and the guy jumped with him, which wasn't a good decision.
Just opened up, just went after it. I think everybody knew I was going for the dunk for my first step.
I was over there. I haven't seen that in a minute, so it was exciting to see him get there and get the N1.
There's nothing better than that. Is you have a big dunk, big play, and people are chest bumping you. The crowd's on their feet. It's special.
But he wasn't the only one throwing it down. Aaron White slammed it home 6 times to lead the Hawks with 20 points in 21 minutes.
That really gets him going as a player. Gets him able to free flow on defense to getting steals, blocks, and rebounds. Did that really well today, and I think he really carried us.
That's how I always play. Always trying to attack the rim whenever I'm down there, and whether it results in a dunk or a shot. 7 free throws too. At this level, I have the ability to go up and dunk it, so I just try and do it every time now.
With the holidays right around the corner, Devin Marble was asked what he wanted for Christmas. Marble said, nothing really, maybe some shoes. Then he paused and said, oh yeah, a win over Indiana. At Carver Hawkeye Arena, Zach Hanley for Iowa Game Day.
Thanks, Zach. We'll get to that in a second. So with this latest win, the Hawkeyes finished their non-conference slate on a 6-game winning streak. Let's take a look at how they fared. It started with a win over Texas Pan American in early November. They won their first 6 games, a couple of hiccups late in the month, a loss to Wichita State in Cancun, and they simply got beat down in their only road game against Virginia Tech. Wins, though, against Iowa State and Northern Iowa certainly made fans forget about that. So what's coming up? The gauntlet that is the Big Ten Conference. Next up for the Hawks, number 6 Indiana. That's on New Year's Eve at Carver. 4 of the next 6 games for Fran McCaffery's team are against ranked opponents, 3 of them currently in the top 10. So yes, 11-2 is nice. Now comes the hard part. We bring back Zach Hanley now, who had a chance to chat with Iowa Game Day analyst Kevin Lehman about the past, the present, and the future state of the Hawkeyes.
And now we're joined by our Fox 28 and Iowa Game Day basketball analyst Kevin Lehman. And Coach, it's always a pleasure talking hoops with you. What did you like about this game?
Well, the Hawks got off to a fast start and were very intense in the first half, shared the basketball, a lot of intensity, kind of tailed off a little bit in the second half, which is expected. These players are ready to get home for Christmas, and they're really ready to start the Big Ten season.
A lot of dunks in this game that kind of amped up the crowd. Did you kind of feel that too?
It really was, and Gabe Olaseni got some good minutes. There's a guy they're going to need during the Big Ten season. He got some quality minutes. Woodbury and Olaseni give the Hawks that inside presence they're going to need during the Big Ten season. And the Hawks starting 3 freshmen, another game underneath their belt. Fran McCaffery gets asked about the schedule quite a bit. It's a relatively soft schedule, but he had 3 freshmen, so where did he break them in? The Hawks only have played 1 road game, so that could be the question. Can these freshmen perform consistently on the road when they get in the Big Ten?
Now, you mentioned the freshmen. It seems like when they're at home, they're not playing like freshmen. Talk about their improvement from, the start of the season till now.
Well, Gasell, the ability to play the point guard and the off guard, and also Clemens developing at that point guard position, have allowed Devin Marble, to play that wing, and he's really shown here in the last couple games to just focusing on that position. They need him as a big-time scorer, and Woodbury gives you that size and presence, physical presence you'll need inside in the Big Ten schedule. Very impressed by how these 3 freshmen have developed. We all knew Gasell was ready to play, but I think the surprise has been Clemens, and Woodbury has really been more consistent than most people thought he would be.
Now, they finished the non-conference schedule 11-2. Did you, coming into this season, think that they were going to be this good?
I kind of had them right at there. I know they had some swing games. Wichita State, which they lost. That trip to Virginia Tech, where they lost. And then I thought Iowa State at home was probably a game they could win, a swing game out of that UNI game. So I thought they might go 12-1 at best, probably end up 11-2. So I'm looking pretty good right now, Zach.
The real schedule starts Big Ten. They don't really get a break. Indiana, Michigan State to start off. How are they going to be able to play that?
Well, you get 8 days of rest, so you can heal up some guys that got that injuries. Oglesby's got a sore back, and Melson Basabi's got a tweaked ankle. Those days off, fresh legs really help. This place will be rocking when Indiana comes here at number 7. And now what the Hawks need to do, they have to build an RPI and build a resume for NCAA tournament committee, because what they look at is wins over the top 50. Zach, because the Big Ten is loaded, they're going to have lots of opportunities. This week, there were 8 of the Big Ten teams ranked 51 or above in Sagarin's RPI rating.
Obviously, the Big Ten is loaded, as you said. What do they have to do to improve from, playing teams like Coppin State to, the Indianas?
Well, we saw, Iowa State was a real challenge for them, as Coach alluded to in his press conference. Those are rivalry games with lots of emotion. Iowa State, UNI, Iowa performed well in those. It's been a long time ago since they lost Wichita State and Virginia Tech. This team has really developed since then, but we're really going to find out what type of team we have come the 31st, and then you got to go on the road, as you mentioned, to Michigan. So that's when I think we'll really know how good this team is. But they're better defensively, and big area they need to prove in. They rebound the heck out of the ball, and they get the free throw line. Those are great keys to winning, especially when you take your team on the road.
Now, it's good that they're playing Indiana at home. If that's a positive, they haven't lost yet here. Why is it so hard to play here?
Well, you've got the Hawks Nest, although the students are not in here, but this place will be full. It's always been an arena where the fans get behind the team. And this is a team that they've really adopted. You can fall in love with this team because they play hard every time they're on the court. They've adopted a little bit of that fire personality of their coach, Fran McCaffrey, and it's fed into the fan base also.
You know, Big Ten schedule, they start next Saturday. Where do you feel like they're going to finish?
Go back to my predictions. I thought they had a chance to go 10-8 in the Big Ten if everything fell right, 9-9. It becomes down to you got to win the games at home. Maybe they can't beat Indiana at home, but they've got to be able to beat a Michigan State coming in here. They've got to win some road games. At Northwestern will be a big game. You got to be able to sweep Purdue and Nebraska, the teams at the bottom of the Big Ten, for them to have a successful Big Ten season.
And now for another prediction, Indiana Saturday. Where do you think, who's going to win that one?
I think the Hoosiers, although they got beat last week, ripe for an upset again. The Hawks will be rested, fresh legs, victory for the Hawks.
All right, well, you've heard it here from the expert himself. Landon, we'll send it back to you.
Calling the upset. I love it. Thanks, Zach. Great work out there. For those of you expecting to see highlights of Northern Iowa's crucial game against St. Mary's, sorry to disappoint you, but that game has been postponed. The Gales could not make the trip to Cedar Falls in time due to the corridor blizzard. Fear not, though, Panther fans. The game has been rescheduled for tomorrow at 1 p.m. at the McLeod Center. This is a big one for Ben Jacobson's team. Coming off a loss at UNLV the other night, which is on your screen now, the Panthers are running out of chances to boost their tournament resume. And with Creighton and Wichita State both looking strong in the Missouri Valley, this is a massive game if they need to get in as an at-large bid. Plenty more great college basketball matchups today. Iowa wins by 30 over Coppin State. Some of the other Big Ten schools had tougher games. 3 great matchups between the Big Ten and the Big 12. Who's the biggest of the big? Let's head to Columbus, Ohio. Number 7 Ohio State taking on number 8 Kansas. First half, Ohio State with a 1-point lead. Off the miss, Shannon Scott rises high for the tip-in. That got the fans in the holiday spirit. Time winding down in the first. More from the Buckeyes. Evan Ravenel dishes to Lenzen Smith for the flush. But Kansas brought an A game to this one. And Nadir Tharp with the bounce ahead to Ben McElmore for the dunk. Kansas up 3 at the break, and the Jayhawks win 74-66. That's 1 for the Big 12. Missouri and Illinois facing off in St. Louis. Both teams ranked in the top 15. Look at the divide between yellow and orange, like a bag of Skittles in there. Nana Egwu. With a name like that, of course, the theme of slam dunks would continue. Later in the first, things getting chippy. After the foul shot, Sam McLaurin gets tangled up and dragged down. Now, the Tigers aren't happy. The Illini aren't happy about it. Nobody's happy about it. Double technicals handed out, but we play on. Second half, Joseph Bertrand tips the pass away and takes it the other way for, yes, another emphatic dunk. But Missouri too strong in their home state. Time winding down, Phil Pressey with the ceiling bucket. They hit their free throws. 82-73 Tigers. Look at the Big 12 making some noise. Could Rick Barnes in Texas make it 3-0 with a win at Michigan State in Tom Izzo's Izzone, as I like to call it? A close game in the second half. State up 1, but Adrian Payne bringing the pain. We've got some real great dunks today, haven't we? More from Payne a few minutes later. 1-point game again. Shot clock winding down. The pull-up jumper from the charity stripe just beats the buzzer. Take another look. Gets the shot off in time. And when the ball goes through, the reaction speaks for itself. Texas not going down easily, though. Connor Lemmert, he beat the shot clock, too. Just a 2-point game, but Izzo Spartans pull it out in the end. Who else? Payne with the exclamation mark. 13 off the bench. Michigan State winners 67-56. Saviors for the Big Ten. We're not letting you go just yet. After a quick break, we reveal the next play in our countdown of the top 5 plays from the 2012 Iowa football season. Keep it here on Iowa Game Day.